Hello ladies and gentlemen, today we will be discussing the AS00SCM remote I/O module for the AS200 and AS300 PLC series. In this video we will discuss the hardware, connections, configurations and the software required to get started. Firstly, you'll need the AS00SCM communication module. For this module you will have a few different communication cards available that just slots into place. In this example, we will be using the AS0102 Ethernet IP card. This card can work in a linear, star, and hybrid topology. The module uses the same I/O modules as on the AS series PLC, so buying I/O modules is very simple. The AS0102 communication card uses both card slot 1 and 2 when installed in the AS00SCM module. The two RJ45 ports on the communication card act as a 2-port Ethernet switch. This means that you can use the second port to daisy chain more RTU modules, use it to connect to the PLC from the remote location, or even use it to connect Ethernet IP configured devices such as HMIs and VFDs. The AS0102 communication module can either be connected directly to the PLC in a linear topology or be connected to the PLC through an Ethernet switch, which allows a star topology network. There are no settings or termination resistors on the AS0102 communication card. Once plugged in, it is ready to be configured. In this example, we will connect the PLC, RTU module and computer through an industrial Ethernet switch. On the AS00SCM module, there are 4 rotary knobs and a selector switch available to configure. The selector switch is to declare if the module is used as a communication module connected to the right side of the CPU or as a remote communication module. In this example, we will be using it as a remote communication module, so you can switch it to RTU. ID1 and Format 1 can be left as 0. We will not be using these settings in the RTU application. ID2 and Format 2 are used to configure the IP address for the Ethernet IP network. When both knobs ID2 and Format 2 are set to 0, the IP address is set through the EIP builder. When both ID2 and Format 2 are set to F, IP setting is set in DHCP mode. After setting is complete, you need to turn the power off and on to make sure the modules are sending DHCP requests. When either ID2 or Format 2 is not 0 or F, the IP address set by the knobs ID2 and Format 2. Hexadecimal formats is used for the manual setting. Please refer to the manual. In this example, we will use the EIP builder in hardware config, so all 4 our knobs will be switched to 0. Firstly, we'll need to connect to the AS228 PLC used in this example. When using Ethernet IP devices, such as our AS0102 module, communication to the CPU is only possible through Ethernet. Thus, we will need to set our COM manager to connect to the PLC through Ethernet. Please note that for this driver to work correctly, you will need to change your computer's IP to the same range as your PLC. Delta PLCs come with the IP 192.168.1.5 from factory, so we will need to change our computer IP to an available IP range. To do this, we will open Control Panel on our Windows machine, navigate to the Network and Sharing Center, select Change Adapter Settings, right-click on your used Ethernet adapter and select Properties. Double left mouse click on Internet Protocol version 4 TCP IPv4. In the open window, we will select Use the following IP address and enter address 192.168.1.20. For the subnet mask, we will enter 255.255.255.0. After setting our Windows machine to a static IP, we can now open COM Manager. Select Add, give our driver a name and select the driver type as Ethernet. Make sure your network adapter picks up. If it doesn't, please verify your Windows settings as per previous step. When using the search button, your available devices on your network should appear. This is all connected devices able to be configured. Please verify that your PLC and your RTU module displays. If all your devices displays correctly, verify that there are no conflicted IP addresses. Then click OK and close the COM manager. Now we can open ASFEN02 Delta's programming software. Open a new project and switch the communication to the Ethernet driver we just set up in COM manager. Choose the IP address of your PLC, then click OK. When your drivers are selected, we can open hardware config to set up our Ethernet IP network. Once hardware config is open, right-click on the CPU and select Communication Software, Ethernet IP. This should open the EIP Builder. Once the EIP Builder is opened, we can go ahead and select Scan. This will scan all available devices on the Ethernet IP network. When the scan has completed, it should now show you the available devices with their IPs. Select a device to add it and click OK. Once added, we will now see our AS00SCM remote I/O module. Drag the IP to the network you wish to connect the device with, then select download. Once done, your remote I/O and PLC are now connected. To add inputs and outputs to your remote I/O module, right-click on the AS00SCM module and select RTU configuration. Here you should already see your connected I/O modules. If not, you can try to scan again or add them manually by clicking on the plus sign. If the module is visible, clicking on it will display the I/O number on the right side of the hardware config. Double-clicking on the AS00SCM module will open the remote I/O settings. Feel free to read through them, but for now we will leave these settings as they are. When done, make sure to download within the Ethernet IP tab and the Hardware Configuration tab. Downloading in only one of the tabs could result in unsuccessful connection. Power cycle the RTU module and the PLC to check if you have communication. PLC and AS00SCM modules have lights next to the RJ45 Ethernet ports. Green light shows that the physical connection is active, and orange means that data packets are being sent. If green is on and orange is flashing, it means that the cable is physically connected correctly and not interrupted. On the AS00SCM module, we can find several lights displaying the state of the hardware. On the module itself, we will see card 1 and card 2 LEDs. Card 1 LED indicates when the ASFEN02 sends data to the AS00SCM module. Card 2 LED indicates when the AS00SCM module sends data to the ASFEN02 module. Everything is now connected and configured. Using the remote I/O number on the right side of the hardware config, we will now write a program to verify the RTU's operation in ASFEN02. We will write the first output on the RTU module on and off using the system memory SM407, which is an internal 1-second clock pulse. After downloading the program, you should now see the first output on the RTU module switching at 1 Hz. When you want to add a module, you can simply slide the module in, power cycle the RTU module, do a scan in the RTU configuration and download your settings in the Ethernet IP tab. I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you now have a clear understanding of how to set up and configure the ASFEN02 communication card with the AS00SCM remote communication module. Feel free to subscribe, like and share this video.